So Manchester United Football Club have finally accepted the inevitable. There can be no place in Erik ten Hag's team for Mason Greenwood. In a statement issued this afternoon, the football club have concluded that Mason Greenwood must recommence his football career away from Old Trafford. It's the outcome many of us have been predicting and calling for all along. What's embarrassing is the huge amount of time it's taken for the football club to make the right decision. Despite claims to the contrary, it's clear that Chief Executive Richard Arnold has done a massive U-turn after accepting the public at large would not accept Mason Greenwood's return. The club claims the decision was not taken before today, but we do know that staff were being prepared for Mason Greenwood's return for several weeks. And today's statement by the club clearly indicates that the decision to move Greenwood on has been taken reluctantly. Reading from the Manchester United website, the statement says, "Our process commenced in February 2023, following all charges against Mason being dropped. Throughout, we have taken into account the wishes, rights and perspective of the alleged victim, along with the club's standards and values, and sought to collate as much information and context as possible. This has required us to proceed with sensitivity and care to obtain evidence not in the public domain, including from those with direct knowledge of the case. Based on the evidence available to us, we have concluded that the material posted online did not provide a full picture and that Mason did not commit the offences in respect of which he was originally charged. That said, as Mason publicly acknowledges today, he has made mistakes which he is taking responsibility for. All those involved, including Mason, recognise the difficulties with him recommencing his career at Manchester United. It has therefore been mutually agreed that it would be most appropriate for him to do so away from Old Trafford, and we will now work with Mason to achieve that outcome." In a separate open letter by Richard Arnold, the chief executive said that the club would continue to support the alleged victim, as well as Mason Greenwood, to help them rebuild and move forward positively with their lives. Arnold explains that his role is to minimise any distraction to the unity we are seeking within the club. Some fans will lament United's desperate shortage of players in Greenwood's position. With signed striker Rasmus Højlund yet to make his United debut due to injury, and there's no doubt a peak condition Greenwood would be a huge asset to Erik ten Hag's squad. After the first two matches, it's clear we are desperately short of goals and options up front. But that's not a reason to bring Mason Greenwood back, after the way he's tarnished the club's reputation. The club statement is basically claiming Greenwood is innocent, but by acknowledging he can't return to the squad, they are accepting there have been issues with his conduct. And they are bowing to the overwhelming weight of those who would not accept him back in the Manchester United squad because of his perceived abusive behaviour towards women. In his own statement, Mason Greenwood accepted he had made mistakes and took his share of responsibility. But he does insist, "I did not do the things I was accused of." Nonetheless, the reality is the audio that condemns him will always be out there. And Mason Greenwood has never denied that it was him saying those words, whatever the context of the full conversation. Greenwood says, "Today's decision has been part of a collaborative process between Manchester United, my family and me. The best decision for us all is for me to continue my football career away from Old Trafford, where my presence will not be a distraction for the club. I thank the club for their support since I joined age 7. There will always be a part of me which is United. I'm enormously grateful to my family and all my loved ones for their support, and it is now for me to repay the trust those around me have shown. I intend to be a better footballer, but most importantly, a good father, a better person, and to use my talents in a positive way on and off the pitch." Personally, I do give Greenwood credit for accepting it's in the best interest of him, his young family, as well as Manchester United, to continue his career away from the massive spotlight of the world's most talked about football club. But I do think Mason Greenwood was expecting a different outcome. I'm also certain there will be an angry reaction by those supporters who wanted Mason Greenwood back at Old Trafford in a red shirt. But it's time for the football club and Mason Greenwood to move on. This is a hugely challenging time for Manchester United, complicated by the owner's refusal to sell the football club. And I believe that until we have strong leadership and new owners, I fear that indecision and weak management will continue to be a huge handicap. Meantime, Richard Arnold's position at Manchester United is now under scrutiny after the way he's managed this affair and done his U-turn. As originally revealed by The Athletic, Arnold told senior management at the football club some time ago that Mason Greenwood would play for Manchester United Football Club again. And today's statement is an embarrassing U-turn by Arnold in response to public opinion. However, that change of mind has been made. Richard Arnold now says that Mason Greenwood has to leave Manchester United Football Club because the club is prioritising the welfare, wishes and the perspective of his alleged victim. In his statement, Arnold said that the club would continue to support the alleged victim as well as Mason Greenwood to help them rebuild and move forward positively with their lives. What hasn't been determined is what will happen to the remaining 2 years of Mason Greenwood's contract. Legally, I don't think his contract can be terminated. Clearly, the football club has a duty of care to Mason Greenwood and his young family, so there's still plenty of work for Mason Greenwood and Manchester United to do to finally unravel this sad situation.